5 days after putting 4 past Plymouth without reply, Leicester City are back at King Power Stadium. And then right-footed floats a ball in, a header goal. Millwall score. It's Bradshaw. In the net, and immediately at the start of the second half, Leicester are level. Harry Winks did have the run of Ndidi, and he's picked him out on the left. It's a ball that's floated into Daka. Couldn't miss from 2 yards out. Somersaults over on the far side. Patson Daka, 2 games, 2 goals. Blocked by Harding, and then Ricardo, left-footed, drops it into the bottom right corner. But in injury time, Wes Harding prodded home. Leicester City 3, Millwall 2.
Welcome along to Matchday Live here on Fox's Hub, following another Leicester City victory just under a week ago, of course. That brilliant win over Millwall, coming from behind to beat them 3-2. Enzo Maresca has made one change to that team that beat Millwall for tonight's game away at Birmingham. This is the Leicester City starting 11. Then it's Hermanson in goal, Justin Vestergaard, Fass and Ricardo, Winks, Dewsbury Hall and Ndidi. How many times have we seen that trio in midfield this season, with Mavididi and Fatawu either side of Patson Daka? Back-to-back goals in back-to-back starts for Patson Daka. On the bench for the Foxes, it's Stolarczyk, Ward, Cody, Cassidy, Iheanacho, Sutar, Chowdhury, Cannon and Ben Nelson. From a Birmingham point of view, Wayne Rooney's side come into this game off the back of a victory, which has been fairly rare under Wayne Rooney, just the 2 in his 10 games in charge of Blues. He doesn't make any changes to the side that beat Cardiff last midweek. This is their 11. It's Ruddy, Buchanan, Sanderson, Roberts, Awu, Sunjic and Bielik in midfield, with Bakuna, James and Dembele in behind Jay Stansfield, the young striker. Very much one to watch this evening from a Leicester City point of view. Well, that's both teams over and done with. Our team here in the studio is Jerry Taggart, sat alongside Ewan Roberts. It's a Monday evening. That means you're at King Power Stadium. Instead of doing our review show extra time, it's a game, which is always exciting.
And we had a great globe-trotting for tonight, had we been doing the extra time show at 6 o'clock. I mean, another midweek game under the lights at St Andrews. Had a good weekend with, both Ipswich and Leeds dropping points at home. We've got to take full advantage of it tonight against Birmingham.
Yeah, it's a good point you makes. I think, after seeing what happened at the weekend with the chasing back, dropping points, then it's important. It's another opportunity for Leicester City this evening to, extend that lead and keep that momentum. And I think, it's an important point to make going into tonight's game is that, we've been speaking about it near enough for the whole season, about particularly this stage of the season being very, very tricky to navigate for everybody involved in it. And you've seen that with the results on Saturday, with some of the results on Saturday. So it's important that Leicester go into this game fully charged.
Yeah, the permutations, if you like, today. If Leicester win, they go 3 clear of Ipswich at the top of the table, of course, and 13 clear, that'd be more key, isn't it, of Leeds and Southampton, who are in 3rd and 4th place on 42 points. Coming up on Matchday Live this evening, as we build up to kick off, we've got plenty to get through, as we always do. We'll hear a lot more from Ewan and from Jerry, as well as Matt Elliott, who is on co-coms for us this evening. We'll start by taking a look back at that win over Millwall just under a week ago. Look back as well at some classic strikes against Birmingham, including a 2-1 victory the last time they played at St Andrews. And we will take a closer look at Wayne Rooney and his Birmingham team. As we've already alluded to, just the 2 victories for Rooney in the 10 games that he's been in charge of Birmingham, who find themselves perilously, if you like, just above that relegation zone, which is... It is important that Leicester don't take this game lightly today, because the key stat is Birmingham have only lost 1 home game all season. 19
points of their 26 have come at St Andrews. They've beaten Leeds, they've beaten West Brom, and they've drawn with Ipswich. And the stat that you've just come out with then before me and Tags sort of got it in, just the 1 defeat at home. So I look back at that Sheffield Wednesday game and I maybe took it a little bit lightly. Maybe just all the lads had to do was turn up at Hillsborough and they would have won the game. And we know what a tough game that was. I expect a really tough game, especially considering they went to Cardiff on Wednesday night. I don't think Cardiff were great on the night, but they sort of grinded a 1-0 result out, only Rooney's second win in 10 games since he's been there. So I'm expecting a tough game, Dan.
Yeah, I think, listen, this game tonight, all the fanfare will be surrounding Wayne Rooney, stroke Birmingham City. And that's and in a way, that's good for Leicester. And just going back to what you said about the Sheffield Wednesday game, where Leicester weren't at their best that evening, and even Enzo's come out and said that they didn't deserve to win that game. I think this game's slightly different from the Sheffield Wednesday game for lots of different reasons. Recovery time, the conditions are slightly better than they were at Sheffield Wednesday. As I said, there's a lot more fanfare surrounding this game, so it ramps up the importance of this game, even though it is against a team that are semi-struggling, as Matthew would say.
Yeah.
So I think, the focus is then sort of drawn slightly away from Leicester and put on to Birmingham because of the manager and the owners and whatever else. So hopefully that plays into Leicester's hands.
I mean, they're going into the game, and we spoke about the back-to-back losses in November. We spoke about this busy period. This is the fourth game in 18 days on the back of 3 consecutive wins, 13 points from 5 games since those back-to-back defeats. I mean, they're well and truly forgotten about. Got to build on that, because a win tonight and a winnable game at the King Power on Saturday against Rotherham, we've got 2 points away from home all season. That's a massive statement before that huge game on the 26th.
Yeah, I think when people looked at the run, Jerry, that Leicester had in terms of fixtures in December, pretty much until Boxing Day, until that Ipswich game, they were relatively favourable. I think, was it 5 of the 7 were in the bottom the bottom even 7 right. at that stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And this is where, Enzo will understand that. I'm not sure if the players will understand if they look that far ahead instead of just looking towards the next game. But I suppose when you're put in that situation, and even though it is a tricky period of the season, you have to try and maximise those opportunities that come your way. And tonight is another opportunity, as well. Saturday be one as well. Obviously disappointing to go in, but a back-to-back losses. But as you rightly says, they've been long been put to rest. They're back up and running. We're seeing some really good football again, and there's no reason why the lads won't go into this game feeling full of confidence, thinking that they can come out here with all 3 points, even though, as you rightly said, Birmingham have only lost 1 at home.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot to do before now and Saturday, but if they can win both tonight and on Saturday, that'll be 58 points at the halfway stage of the season, which is
unreal,
tremendous. But they've got to win the 2 games.
Yeah, and it's an obvious thing to say. I think this one tonight will be the tougher test of the 2. But then you look on the flip side of that, you look at Leicester's away form. They've got the best away form in the division. They've got the best defensive away record in the division. Only, I think, Middlesbrough and Norwich have scored more goals. Just that 1 defeat away from home to Middlesbrough. They've been outstanding on the road. Won their first 7. So this is a team that's not just confident of winning games at home. I think they're a group within that dressing room that they're confident wherever they go in this league that they can come back with 3 points, and I think they'd be the same tonight. And
I think, that's a good game. Even though the stat says Birmingham have only lost 1 game at home all season, this is Leicester rolling into town tonight. 10 points clear of 3rd place in the league, and the best away record in the league so far this season. So even though that's a good record as far as Birmingham are concerned, I don't see that, hopefully, staying the same at the end. If Leicester, can bring their A game or somewhere near their A game.
Yeah, that's Leicester's away form. Last time out, though, it was at home here at King Power Stadium against Millwall back on Wednesday, just under a week ago. Seems like a little bit longer than that, doesn't it? But the Foxes came from behind to win that evening.
Back to Wallace, dummies. And then right-footed, floats a ball in, a header, goal! Millwall score! It's Bradshaw with a glancing header inside the 6-yard area. Millwall's first attack of the game results in a shock lead here at King Power Stadium. Honeyman through the gap to find Bradshaw, edge of the area. Vestergaard alongside him. Bradshaw got his shot in, but it's into the side netting. Well, Vestergaard's attention forcing Bradshaw wide, but he managed to wrap his right foot around the ball. Dewsbury Hall will cross the ball back in. Dangerous ball that came off a Millwall player. It's in the net. It's an own goal. And immediately at the start of the second half, Leicester are level. Just 3 minutes of the second period elapsed. Dewsbury Hall swinging the ball in from the left after the corner was cleared. And he's picked him out on the left. It's a ball that's floated into Daka. Couldn't miss from 2 yards out. And in front of the Kop end, Leicester within 6 minutes of the second half turn it from a 1-goal deficit to a 1-goal lead. 1-on-1 against McNamara, goes onto his left foot. A ball that's floated into a dangerous area and into the side of the goal from Mavididi, sprinting into the box, and 2 Millwall players almost left it for each other. Mavididi nipping in, Dewsbury Hall clear down the left, pulled back towards Cannon, cleared initially, Cannon left-footed, blocked by Harding, and then Ricardo, left-footed, drops it into the bottom right corner, and there is the Leicester third, and it's the captain on the score sheet for his first goal of the season. Everybody back in blue to defend the corner, which will be taken by Saville. Again, it's whipped in so dangerously. Hermanson got something on it, and it is turned in from close range from Wes Harding. And that makes for an interesting final 4 and a bit minutes here.
It did indeed make for an interesting final few minutes, Jerry, where Leicester probably didn't want that to be the case. Only the first time this season they've conceded more than 1 goal in a game. Thankfully, they scored 3, so they still got all 3 points, but it made a little bit nervy at the end.
Absolutely, and again, it's a goal from set piece. Not dealing with the initial contact, not dealing with a second ball. It's happened a couple of times this season, and that's something that Birmingham will pick up on and try and exploit tonight at home against Leicester. So they have to make sure that the set piece drills defensively are absolutely spot on. But other than that, going forward again, I thought you've seen the chances that Leicester got had easy 4 or 5 goals against Millwall the other night. So that scoreline sort of does Leicester a bit of a misjustice, if we're all being honest. But obviously the disappointing factor coming from a defender like myself is not dealing in the dire moments and seeing the game out and just adding to that little bit of pressure at the end.
I think that is the thing where they were nervy last 3 or 4 minutes after that second goal went in, and it really shouldn't have been. The game should have been put to bed well before that. I mean, fantastic second half comeback. Scored 3 goals in 6 minutes against Plymouth. 2 goals early in the second half, which turned the game completely on its head, created other chances to have gone for. 3-2. If you look at that game, you think, oh, that was a close game. It wasn't really a true reflection, and it should have been a more comfortable finish to the night. Yeah,
let's look at the positives of it then, and that man on the screen behind you there, and he's been fantastic the last couple of games. 1 minute of Championship action before the Plymouth game. He comes in from the cold, and he scored back-to-back games.
And his first goal against Plymouth, magnificent finish. I mean, it's this goal. I mean, it's great. We were talking about the ball from Ndidi. It's a magnificent ball. Stood it up to the back post. As a centre forward, you've pulled yourself to that back post. You can see it coming. You know the keeper's not getting anywhere near it. You're a yard out. Your eyes sort of light up. And it's a simple finish. It's a simple goal. But 2 consecutive goals in consecutive games when you've had. It's been a tough start. It's been a tough first half of the season for Patson. He's been out the equation. He's not really been involved. He's doing all that hard work in the week leading up to the game, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. And he hasn't shown his frustration. He's just got his head down. He's got on with it. I can't for 1 minute think he's a whinger or a moaner. He comes over as a great lad. That beaming smile that he's got. And you can just tell by the reaction of everybody, the fans, his teammates, the Enzo and his staff, that they're delighted for him that he scored these last 2 goals.
You really wouldn't bet against him scoring again tonight.
He's a finisher. You know, when he first signed for the club, you looked at his record in, was it Salzburg?
Yeah.
Yeah. Goal every 2 and a bit games. You know, the boy knows where the back of the goal is.
Yeah.
I think his movement has got him the 2 goals in 2 games as well. Apart from, as Ewan said, he can finish. The boy can finish. But you look at his movement. You know, here we go. This great movement. You know, he was trying this all afternoon. And finally came off in the second half of that long pass from Hermansen. So it's a great bit of movement, and obviously the great bit of play here from my main man at the minute, Fatalwu. But and again, the goal against Millwall is movement to that back post. Everybody else is charging to the near post to try and stop Ndidi from getting the ball, but Patson, he doesn't panic. He thinks, right, I can just nip off the centre half here to the far post, and hopefully Ndidi will find me. So it's great movement from him for both those goals, as well as obviously him putting the finishing touches to them.
Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall got another assist to his name for the first goal, wasn't it, for Yannick Vestergaard? I think he said after the game he could have had a few more assists for Vestergaard's chances this season. This is probably one of the more difficult ones that he's had, and somehow he manages to get it over the goalkeeper and in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, he's having a fantastic season, isn't he? Kind of all that, you know, another front runner for player of the season, along with 1 or 2 others. And then obviously this ball, he's given time and space, but he's still got to deliver that quality, and it's a great ball in. And Yannick, you know, going toe to toe with our big centre half. There you go, the skipper. What was his name? Cooper, is it? Yeah,
Sean Cooper.
Yeah. So you know, and he's managed to just get above him, get that vital touch, and it's in the back of the net. But yeah, great ball.
And the difference in Ndidi's ball, where he's got to the byline, he's dinked it up to the far post. It just goes to show you don't always have to do that. If you've got someone with real quality, as Dewsbury-Hall has, he's put it in 10 yards from outside the opposition's penalty box, but the quality of the ball in is absolutely magnificent. Get a little bit lucky with maybe the ball coming off Yannick's shoulder, but who cares?
No, only 2 players have more assists this season in the division than Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, and it's balls in like that you see why.
No, absolutely. I mean, well, we all know he's a Premier League player playing in the Championship, along with 1 or 2 others. Let's be honest, brutally honest about that. As I said, he was afforded a bit of time by Millwall. No one came out to close him down, put him under pressure, so he was able to manoeuvre the ball into a position where we know he's got that quality, that Premier League quality, to deliver quality balls like that, and that's. You know, you'll see that time and time again if he's afforded the time and space to do that, because he's full of it.
And we've seen it all season, haven't we, from Dewsbury-Hall?
I mean, some of his goals have been, some of his assists have been so unselfish, where he could have thought of himself, where I've got a one-on-one with the keeper, well, yeah, maybe a bit of a tight angle, but he's seen a teammate in a far better opposite.
The Harry Winks one is the obvious one at West Brom.
And Casey McAteer on more than one occasion, I think, was it Southampton, Norwich, slide it across, and he's maybe got to tap him. He's been very, very unselfish, and not just his assists, but he scored good goals as well.
Yeah, this one in particular, because last minute of the game, he can have all the glory, Jerry. There,
yeah, no, absolutely. But you know, you heard him speak after this game and the importance of making the right decision in the right moment. And like you say, it's easy as a player, last minute, a chance to win the game, running through one-on-one with a keeper. It's pretty easy, and you can be forgiven for thinking, right, this is my time, bang, I'm going to put another one. But he does exactly the right thing at the right moment, speaks about it afterwards. So not only does he walk the walk, he talks the talk as well. What a guy.
What an important goal, by the way. After going up to Hillsborough, getting that point to go to West Brom, tough place
Big
to go,
game.
and win it like
Kick-off.
that with the last kick of the game. Magnificent.
Giving them confidence going into their next away game. Obviously this evening, we've got one other goal to look back at in that Millwall game. Is it Ricardo's? Is it Wilfred Ndidi's? That's the question, isn't it? That's been on everyone's lips. I think including those 2 players as well.
I'm giving it to Ricardo. I don't want to get slaughtered by this man to my left again.
Listen, like you say, in the bigger scheme of things, does it really matter? But if you're a centre forward, you're taking that all day long. I understand that. But even if you look at Wilfred, like he's saying,
he kind of knows, doesn't he?
He knows, but he's trying his best not to take the glory away from Ricardo Pereira there. But I don't know who eventually was given the goal.
Well, according to our website, lcfc.com, it still has Ricardo down as the goal scorer.
I was told as a centre forward, right, whenever anybody's shooting, get in the goalkeeper's line.
Yeah.
So if it comes off you, he's got no chance of getting it.
I think we
be a
put
brave
up
man to take off Ricardo.
The LCFC social media account on Twitter put up a poll after the game, Jerry, saying whose goal do you think it was? There were more votes for Wilfred Ndidi than there were for
Well,
Ricardo.
then it's Wilfred's goal. You know, it's fine. That's good, and I'm sure Ricardo won't mind. You know, I'm sure he scored good goals, great goals in the past, and I'm sure he'll score a couple more in the future.
He's been instrumental again, hasn't he? If you're picking out, you've been saying potential players of the season, he's up there, isn't he? In terms of, he'll be one of the nominees. Absolutely.
We're talking about Ricardo. We're talking about well, obviously.
Well, either of them,
the pair of them have been the biggest change I've seen in a player in a long time is Wilfred Ndidi. But Ricardo is your 7, 8 out of 10s every week. You just know exactly what you give him. Playing in a position he's not been used to. He's come in. He looks like he's played there for 10 years. So and he's the biggest question or the biggest plus for the manager is he knows what he's getting from him. You know, he can pin his hat on him a bit like you can pin your hat on Dewsbury Hall. And to a certain extent, Wilfred Ndidi, but Ricardo is just one of those players. You know, trust him. Harry Winks, another one. You don't need to worry about these players. You don't need to think, well, you know, how are you feeling today, son? Or, you know, is everything okay? You know what you're going to get from Ricardo. He's excellent.
I mean, when we're talking about Ricardo of the past, you think of those marauding runs down the right-hand side, getting in the box, getting balls into the penalty area, scoring goals, creating goals. But now he's shown that he's got another string to his bow. He's become a playmaker all of a sudden because of the way Enzo wants his full-back to play, you know, that inverted right back or whatever they call it. And as Tags pointed out the other night against Millwall, he was asked to play that little bit further forward, which then enabled Ndidi to get forward as he did for Patson Daka's goal and Dewsbury Hall as well. So he's been a revelation showing this new side to his game.
Yeah, one final word on that Millwall game. Picking up on what you've just said there about Enzo Maresca, that change, that tweak that he made at half-time, that's what great managers do. And 1-0 down, Leicester were struggling a little bit in that first half. 5 minutes into the second half, they're already winning. And is that down to that tweak?
Absolutely. 100%. You've got to give the manager full credit for the tweak and the change. And now, obviously, when you analyse the first half and you see Millwall defending deep and defending in numbers, Leicester having majority of the play, as you would expect, but and creating half chances, but not fully blown.
Chances,
there were little, you know, difficult chances to try and convert. And then that little tweak, pushing, instead of having Ricardo Pereira and Harry Winks sitting in that deep line midfield, just leave Harry Winks to himself and you go and push on and put that back line of Millwall under a bit more pressure a bit sooner, instead of waiting for the build-up play to get out wide where all the space was on both flanks against Millwall. Now you were testing them through the middle because Ricardo had pushed on and it worked an absolute treat. So full credit to the manager and his staff. Yeah,
very much a tactical masterclass, wasn't it? Right, let's take a look then at some of the best goals that were scored in November in a Leicester City shirt, be that the men's team, the women's team, the development squad as well. And you need to pick your favourite. Which of these gets your vote?
Nevin there, Liverpool will try and clear as far as Thibaud. Rantala turning, finding Goodwin again. Goodwin goes for goal this time and scores! Fantastic goal from Missy Goodwin. Superb finish. Leicester back on terms. That is simply fantastic from Missy Goodwin. Shifted the ball onto her left foot. ball towards Hannah Kane, and Leicester City could be in again here. Kane with the low ball in, and it's a fantastic Leicester City goal. This time it was Kamen with the vital touch. 2 goals in 2 minutes for the Foxes.
Here's Rantala. What's a lovely ball into the space for Kane. Kaiman screaming up to get in the middle. She's got to stay onside. The flag stays down. It's Janice Kaiman. It's 1-0 Leicester. Beautifully tucked away. Lightning fast break. Hannah Kane at the heart of it. And Kaiman kept her cool to slot it beyond Becky Spencer and give Leicester City the early lead.
Dewsbury Hall has the most assists this season in the Championship. Can he find another here as he sends his ball towards the back post? It's a fantastic save, but then Jamie Vardy there with the back stick to get it home this time. It's third time lucky for the Leicester City number 9. It's 7 goals in 8 home appearances against Watford.
Fantastic work from the Leicester City number 9, leading this charge away. And now they're in behind, and they've got one back. A fantastic finish from Rantala to get Leicester City well and truly back into the game.
Mavadidic sprinting to keep the ball in play on the far side, will run towards Iorfa, goes on the outside in the penalty area, across that came through and into the back of the net from Fatawu. It was missed by Cassidy, but inside the 6-yard area, Fatawu steadied himself and from close range, left-footed, drills it into the back of the net. His second Leicester City goal gives them the lead at Hillsborough.
Yeah, it's a great finish, great move. Again, Mavadidi key in this move. And a little lollipop on that left-hand side.
Only the 6 to choose from. In November, there was that international break, a couple of defeats as well for the first team, so not a huge amount to pick from. I think you've got a favourite, though.
I think the girls are showing the lads the way forward. Some magnificent goals in the end. Missy Goodman, the first one we saw at Prenton Park. From that angle, to put it where she did in the top corner, absolutely magnificent strike.
Now I'm going to chuck a little bit of controversy in because I'm not sure she meant that, but I think Rantala's goal as well as a great move. Lovely bit of skill in the middle of the pitch. And then a lovely way to pass.
Against Chelsea as well.
Against Chelsea. And a great finish. You know, first time, left foot, bang. Love it. Well, and Kamen's as well. The first goal, again, a really good move. So, yeah, I would give it to Rantala.
Okay. Thank you very much. Right, you can have your say, by the way, if you either agree or disagree with these guys on lcfc.com. Just seen some warm-up shots from St Andrews at the minute. The camera's trained on Patson Daka because of those 2 goals in 2 games that he's got, and very much the man with the confidence at the minute for Leicester.
You know, he's had to be patient. You know, there were rumours in the summer that he might leave the club. You know, the move didn't happen. Was it Bournemouth, I think, that he was linked with? The move didn't happen for one reason or another. But you can't have enough, in my opinion, of good quality finishes in your squad. I think Leicester have got 4. You know, Enzo's spoilt for choices. If a couple aren't quite doing what they should be, then he can turn to a couple on the bench. I say he's had to be patient for a long time. He's had to sit on the bench. He's not been in the squad. All of a sudden, with no Iheanacho, no Jamie Vardy, Tom Cannon not quite up to speed, not to the fitness levels where he needs to be, turned to Patson Daka, and he's not let them down.
Now, you know, when you talk about Patson, everyone said about the beam and smile and the attitude that he has, and he's come in from, I suppose you could say it pretty much is the code. And so managing that, as you know, as a manager, as a coaching staff, trying to manage an individual personality would, under normal circumstances, be pretty difficult. I'm pretty sure of that. But because of the way Patson is as a human being and his demeanour, I think it's not been as hard as, say, if you were trying to manage me or you. Do you understand?
Speaking of difficult to manage individual personalities, Matt Elliott joins us live from St Andrews and Birmingham. Good evening to you, Matt. How's the trip over?
Evening, Batesy. Evening, boys. Pretty straightforward, actually. I bumped into an old Leicester player, Steve Howard, who didn't have quite so much luck. 4.5 hours it took him. Unlucky, son. Unlucky. But, yeah. No, I'm here looking pretty dapper, if I may say so myself.
What?
In cashmere and a cravat. You'd love it, Ewan. You'd love it.
You're going to have to send us a photo through, Matt, so we can share it.
It might not be 100% cashmere, but I look better than John Dunn, who's next to me, put it that way, in a duffel coat and mittens, but there you go.
Is it a cold one tonight?
No, it's all right, actually. I've come prepared for a winter chill, but it's pretty mild, as you know, everyone will know, isn't it? It's been mild through the day, and again, so tonight there's a light wind, shall we say, and there's a little bit of drizzle when it turned up, but perfect football weather. Yeah, not too cold at all.
Matt, Tags here. I've got 2 questions for you. You know what the second one
Not
is?
at the same time.
Hey? Well, no, not at the same time. I'll let you
me.
answer. Don't you worry, sunshine. Tonight's game, how do you see it going? How do you think Leicester, or what do you think Leicester need to do to get a result at Birmingham tonight, and considering they've only lost 1 game this season?
Well, exactly. I mean, you look at Leicester and you can't help but think it's just about their mindset, really, isn't it? You know, if they play anywhere near, I fancy them against anyone in this division, but obviously, you know, it hasn't always gone their way. You know, they are sort of, you know, they are capable of losing games, as we've seen, but I mean, coming in and listening to the radio and listening to people talking around here, they're pretty pessimistic, the locals, for their chances tonight, rather than, which is a sad state of affairs, really. They should be looking forward to a big game like this, shouldn't they? You know, there's new things happening, Rooney coming in, etc., backers, and, you know, on the board level, etc., and should be a dawning of a new era, but I don't think it's ready to embark just yet. I don't know, we might get surprised tonight, but I mean, the players look bright enough out there, and it's only a warm-up, as we all know, but the supporters are not particularly expectant, and not just because of that. Any game of this season, going into it, I fancy Leicester, home or away, and there's no change tonight.
Second question, Matt, have you sampled any of the away day fare to make your trip to St Andrews a little bit more, you know, easy or enjoyable?
Yeah, well, it hasn't all been fruit and roses, if that's a saying. I might have just invented that, but no, the journey over was exceptional. You know, clear on the M42, which was a big surprise. The food was a bit of a letdown, I've got to say.
What was it?
Well, it was, well, you might have guessed, this time of year. I'm getting sick of it already, and it's still got a week to go, haven't we? Turkey stuffing bake, I think, mashed potato, and some rock hard carrots. I think rather than using milk and flour or whatever it is I think they just used a bit of paste to put the mashed potatoes together. It was, put it this way, Gerald, and this is a rarity. I ate a quarter of it and I declined.
Wow.
Yeah. Say no more.
Yeah, that's my favourite part of away days, Matchday Live now, is finding out what the food is.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's the first negative review I think that we've had so far.
And when has he ever left a full plate of food?
Exactly. You won't be tonight,
never.
Jerry. Final point on the game, obviously, Matt. We know that under Rooney, obviously, we've said 2 wins in 10 games in charge. Hasn't been fantastic, but they won their last one. You assume maybe they'll have a bit of confidence going into it?
Yeah, you would think. You know, perhaps they're more confident than I'm making out, but that's just a sort of external feel that you get. Players might have a different vibe, but listen, that doesn't make. Listen, Leicester City players that don't want to really be hearing that, and they won't. They'll know by now what happens if they're not properly on their game. They've come unstuck on a couple of occasions, and I said it at the time when they lost against Leeds, and okay, they maybe didn't learn their lesson quite quick enough. Sheffield Wednesday result, but that might just give them that little jolt, a touch, and make sure that they don't drop their standards. And I don't see that happening tonight. Big opportunity tonight, isn't it? A couple of teams Leeds, Southampton dropped points at the weekend, and it's a big opportunity to extend that lead, isn't it, above third place, which you can always use as motivation if you're feeling a little bit sloppy.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Matt. We'll hear from you again on co-commentary duty. Quick word on Birmingham. We'll hear from one of their reporters in a moment, but we've spoken about that home form, and it hasn't quite translated under Rooney. He's 4 games in charge. I think he's lost 1, won 1, drawn a couple as well. But I think only losing 1 at home all season at this stage where we are mid-December, that is good going. And it will be far from easy tonight.
I played there a few times. You probably did as well, Tags. And I think the only time I ever won there was with Leicester, when I think myself and Big Ian Ormondroyd scored in a 2-wheel. So it's never an easy place to go. I think the negative about Leicester going there, Birmingham will be well up for it. Because it's Leicester, because it's the best team in the Championship, because it's a team that possibly should be still playing in the Premier League, which that's going to happen every away game this season for Leicester. And saying that Leicester have got the best away record in the league. We've spoken about Birmingham's home record. They've got the 8th best, and what are they, 17th in the Championship. But saying all that, in his 10 games, Rooney's lost over half of them. He's lost 6 of the 10. So.
We'll see. Hopefully it'll be 7 by the end of this evening. Let's take a close look then at Birmingham City. We've spoken about all those sorts of records. Alex Dickin from the Birmingham Mail has been telling us how they've been faring since Rooney took charge.
Rooney ripped it up straight away, basically, and went to a kind of playing out from the back style that caused Blues a lot of issues at the back. They were giving goals away and didn't look comfortable. Goalkeeper John Ruddy has never really been that sort of player. He's not awful with his feet, but he's certainly not, the example Rooney used earlier in this season is Ryan Alsop, who plays for Hull City in goal. He's an excellent goalkeeper with his feet. Probably not as good as Ruddy with his hands, but with his feet, he's very good. That kind of goalkeeper always sets the tone, and then the defenders need to be comfortable as well. And Blues defenders weren't quite comfortable before under use. They played more of they played out sometimes, but it was very kind of a low risk strategy as well. They make good decisions, and they've started to bring that back into their play under Rooney because the playing out didn't work. It would have obviously been a different atmosphere if Jamie Vardy was playing for Leicester. It might have been a bit more raucous, I suppose. There'd have been that narrative around there for Sky. Have obviously selected the game for that particular reason. I think that'll be a good atmosphere. There's been a good atmosphere in a lot of the night games, probably before Rooney came along. I think back to the West Brom game Friday night under the lights. The atmosphere in that one was electric. The win against Cardiff will help Blues and Rooney. I think it's given him a little bit of a reprieve with some fans. So it's the final game before Christmas. Obviously, it's against top of the league. It's probably not going to take an awful lot for Blues fans to get behind their team in that particular game, I'd imagine.
Thank you to Alex Dickin there from the Birmingham Mail. Speaking about Birmingham's defensive woes this season, Jerry.
Well, yeah, I think, when you listen to what he says about the way John Eustace was playing before him, and then when Wayne Rooney comes in, completely changes it around, starting to play from back. That is never easy as a manager. You just come in and go, right, bang, everything's... I know you have a way you want to play, but sometimes you've got to ease your way out. You've got to find the right members of the playing staff to play in those positions, to play the style of football that you want. And, since Rooney's come in, they've conceded 18 goals and only scored 9. which is, so they conceded exactly twice as many as of the score, which is not, obviously not great. And it tells you that the playing style, and I'm trying to get the ball on the ground and start playing out from the back, he's just having a bit of a struggle with that at the minute.
And as we all know now, with this playing out the back, you need a goalkeeper which is a confident goalkeeper to like Hermison is. I've known John Ruddy for years, believe it or not. I actually played with him, and I'm 55 now. In my last season, I went along to Cambridge, and he was an 18-year-old boy in the team. He's not brilliant with the ball at his feet, so I think if Leicester can get pressure nice and early, nice and quickly on John Ruddy, then they could get a bit of joy from that.
Still don't think that's quite as mad, Jerry, as the stat that you played against the Tranmere goalkeeper, didn't you? Who played
he played the other night, yeah.
When we played him in the League Cup. But yeah,
yes.
John Ruddy, as you said, you know him, and the reporter made the point that it's not his style to do that, playing from the back. And so Leicester, if they put the pressure on, could maybe create some chances from that.
He's been a very, very good keeper, played a good few years in the Premier League, moved to Everton when he was a young man, never quite happened for him there, so he moved to Norwich where he had loads of success. But yeah, his feet have never, ever been his strength. Even like kicking through the ball, when he's clearing his lines, when he's sort of trying to get it up towards the centre forward, it's not a strength that he's ever had, so could get some joy from that.
Let's remind the viewers then of tonight's team news for both sides over at St Andrews in the West versus East Midlands derby. You could potentially just about say that it is, Hermanson in goal for the Foxes, of course. Justin, Vestergaard, Fass and Ricardo. Justin for Cody, incidentally, is Enzo Maresca's only change from the win over Millwall on Wednesday. It's Winks, Dewsbury Hall and Ndidi in the midfield, with Mavididi and Fatawu either side of the in-form Patson Daka. From a Birmingham City point of view, they have the man that we've just been speaking about, John Ruddy, of course, in goal. It's Buchanan, Sanderson, Roberts and Iwu across the back four, with Sunjic and Bielik in midfield, Bakuna, James and Dembele in behind Jay Stansfield. Stansfield with 5 goals in all competitions so far this season. Let's take a look back then at some classic goals scored against Birmingham City at St Andrews. The last time these two sides met was back in 2014, the season that Leicester, of course, won promotion to the Premier League, and a familiar name was on the score sheet that day.
Dyer's made a run through the centre, he's found him, it's Lloyd Dyer, keeps his feet. Oh, what a finish! What a finish from Lloyd Dyer. Vardy up against Amari Bell. Still Jamie Vardy gets round him. Vardy! As clinical as ever, Jamie Vardy.
I think that absolutely sums up former professional footballers. That goal goes in, Ewan Roberts goes, oh, what a brilliant finish. Jerry's reaction is, what terrible defender.
That's what you look at. That's what Ewan looks at. Great finish from Jamie, yeah. But first and foremost, I'm looking at the centre half and the way he's just stood square on to Jamie Vardy, who's like, come on, so I can get you on the outside, and bang. Just saying, on you go. But there you go.
And you were talking about the finish, of course. That's a defender and a forward striker right there. Hopefully we'll see a repeat tonight. Another 3 points, celebrations in front of that away end, potentially, fingers crossed.
Just looking down, unbeaten in 6 against Birmingham, won 4 of those 6, including the last 3. Let's hope it's 4 consecutive wins against the Blues tonight.
Jerry asked Matt this question. What do they need to do, do you think, particularly if they're going to get that victory? Is there anything key, anything different that they potentially need to do?
Just keep the standards that they've sort of set and maintained for 98% of this season. They've got it's a better team. They've got better individuals. They've got more match winners in their side. You put all those together with the attitude, the application, and they should win the game.
Yeah, I think try and play better than you did against Sheffield Wednesday away from home. And if you do that, there shouldn't be an issue. And I think, the standards, you set your own standards. And when you fall below those standards, then you've only yourself to blame. And so, but there's only you can pick those standards back up. So they've had a few reminders in games gone by. Hopefully that reminder will kick in tonight, and the quality of the game will be at a standard that'll see them through.
And we know how you could argue they've been better in second halves this season. I mean, if you look at the stats, a lot more goals scored in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I've got no issue with it. The style. I know people are one that they start slow, but I think when you play the style of football that Leicester play, then you have to feel teams out. You have to find where the gaps are, because if you're not going to panic and you're not going to rush it, then you have to make sure when you're playing these defence splitting passes or you are playing the ball out to the wing and not going through the middle, you've got to make sure it's right. And sometimes as well, it needs a little bit of encouragement from your manager at half time, and then that's when you see them coming out and going, right, lads, full steam ahead now, let's go.
When you think, looking back at that Sheffield Wednesday game, there was no Dewsbury Hall, there was no Wilfred Ndidi, because I think they were sort of being rested for the West Brom game on the Saturday. 6 changes. Yeah, fast played at left back. I think that back four, and I'm not being I think it's a better looking back four because you've got James Justin at left back.
Well, yeah, it was in the last game, wasn't it, against Millwall, that it was fast at left back again, which is what he changed.
Correct, and he changed it and got Justin on, didn't he? And it just sort of just changed the game again. He just gives you so much on that left or right hand side. To be fair, James Justin with his athleticism.
Right, we are building up to kick-off. There is around about 13 minutes now to go until kick-off at St Andrews. That means it is indeed now time to hand over to our commentary team this evening. The game is, as ever, available to you on Fox's Hub, whether that's to listen or to watch. Here's a little video reminder of what is available for you tonight and how you can find it. And coming up next, we've got the game.
If you are watching on lcfc.com, just sit back and relax. If you are watching on social media, the live stream will finish shortly. If you want to continue enjoying our coverage, you'll need to head over to lcfc.com/Fox's Hub and purchase one of our game passes. If you are watching in a territory where the game isn't live on TV, you'll be able to watch a live video stream on Fox's Hub. Please visit lcfc.com/territories to check. If you can't find your location, live audio commentary is still available. You'll need to have an lcfc.com account before you purchase your game pass. If you already have one, please sign in and select your product at lcfc.com/Fox's Hub. Select the Buy button and you'll be taken to the payment page. Once you've followed the simple payment steps, press Continue at the bottom of the screen and you'll be taken to the Fox's Hub homepage. If you purchased a video pass, please select Watch Live from the Fox's Hub drop-down menu. If you purchased a Listen Live pass, please select Listen Live. If you purchased a seasonal or monthly video pass and the game is not being shown in your territory, please select Listen Live. If you are having a payment or technical issue, please email Leicester TV Support at streamamg.com. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the match.
Who wants to join me? Shopping at King Power. 3-day, 2-night stay booked. See ya.
To the rooftop bar.
To snap a photo for my IG.
To eat the famous pad thai.
The new collection is calling me.
Sure, there's a perfume I want. Let me ask my sis.
Yes, of course I'm going. Leicester City, Fox never quit.
Let's go. It's possible.